to Noiseville. I'm Ellie Telebian and this is
David Elphick, and we have a really special show coming up for you today as we uncover the electronic music scene in Brighton and the South Coast with the help of some special guests, including
Seamus Haji, Krafty Kuts and
Timo Garcia, DJ Format and Matt from SKINT Records. It's a real good show. Hope you enjoy it.
I would say soulful, funky, happy.
Good music, good people, open mind.
And you'll have a good time.
I'd like to think so.
I've never worked a day in my life. I've just laid back and let the big beats take me.
Fine. Are you quoting anyone there? Okay. Love.
That's good, I like that.
Brighton love, that's what I'd say.
That's good.
Buzzing.
Yeah, it's got a real buzz, vibrancy to it down here.
That's a good positive word to describe it.
How would you sum up the Brighton electronic music scene if you could in few words as possible?
It's really good.
Okay, now as part of our lead up to the amazing Shakedown Festival this month, we are talking to a variety of electronic music based Brighton faces. And with me now is Matt King, and you're the label manager at SKINT Records.
Correct.
Which is a massive Brighton institution. It's been around for, it's
20 years, yeah.
Celebrating its 20th year anniversary this year.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do as a label manager?
So I've been at SKINT for about 6 or 7 years now. I came from the bottom. So as a label manager, I kind of work from A&R to marketing to promotions and everything and anything in between.
We're here with Matt Ford, known better as his musical moniker DJ Format. You could just introduce yourself for anyone who doesn't know you and just tell them what you do.
I'm DJ Format. I'm a kind of hip-hop, soul, funk producer and DJ from Southampton originally, and for a few years from Brighton. So.
I'm here with Seamus Haji. Seamus, hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Now you wear many hats in Brighton, don't you, under the electro music scene. What are those?
DJ, producer and remixer, run a record label, also sort of getting into the teaching area, was involved with the BMC as well, the Brighton Music
Conference. Of course.
And then also do a radio show on Juice Brighton 107.2. And that's on Saturdays, 8 till 10. I've been doing that for about 4 years, which I really enjoy.
Right, now I'm here with Timo Garcia, aka Nolan. Are there any other monikers you go by?
There is just Timo, where the I is an underscore for the chill out stuff I do. So
There's about 3 different guises.
well, there's a few more, but they're not actually, kind of ones I promote there.
Martin, aka Krafty Kuts, thanks so much for joining us. We're going to have a little chat about Brighton's electronic music scene, something you should know a whole lot about, really. You've been in the scene for some time. Tell us a little bit about your roots in Brighton's electronic music scene.
Well, basically, I had a record shop 10, 12 years ago down the lanes, and then I started up a club night called Supercharged, right in the hub of the seafront, a place called the Funky Buddha Lounge. What a cute little place that was. And then me and my business partner at the time started doing nights called Supercharged, which is still going, not every week now, but we used to do it every week for 12 years.
I moved down here because I was having children, and I kind of wanted to get out of London. I just felt like it was all quite oppressive. Do you know what I mean? It can be a bit full on. It's a great place to be, but I just felt personally I wanted somewhere a bit freer to come and just do what I want to do, just express myself, not without those limitations, So for me, that's why I came here, and it's a nice environment. It's a nice place to be.
I used to run a punk night down here called Cliche, down at the Free Butt, and sometimes at the engine rooms, and so Brighton was always a massive hub for hardcore and punk and stuff like that, and I was making the crossover from, as the Fat Boy title, punk to funk came along. So it's kind of came down to Brighton as soon as I'd finished school, and continued with those nights, and slowly and surely got well and truly into dance music.
Well, were you making music before you moved to Brighton?
I wasn't. Not really, no. I was just having little dabbles at it, and it wasn't until I got my record shop and I realised that this was my future, writing dance music, electronic music, and also DJing. You know, Brighton's so amazing for clubbing and playing in, and the crowds are so good that it was so much fun that I thought to myself, you know, I want more of this when I first got a taste. And obviously Fatboy Slim was a big part of that. So yeah, my musical roots and electronic music has definitely came out of Brighton for sure, without a shadow of a doubt.
What's positive, what's negative about what's changed in Brighton over that last decade?
I think music's changed dramatically. I think that music has become a little bit throwaway in some cases, and a little bit of the soul has gone. You know, there used to be a lot of like jazz and funk and hip-hop nights in Brighton, little bars and stuff, and everyone would congregate and chat and drink a beer over really cool music. Those elements are gone now. It's like bars are just meeting places for everyone to get drunk and not about the music. And there used to be really cool warm-up places where people would come and go somewhere to listen to really cool music before they'd hit a club. And that, I think that soul has been gone from the scene around Brighton a little bit, and there used to be some really cool little trendy spots on the seafront where people would go and listen to, you know, a DJ just playing music, not trying to get the crowd going crazy, but just playing really nice soulful music.
In terms of music and genre, when I first sort of came down here, Supercharged was the thing to do. It was those parties which are it would be Stanton Warriors, Jack Beats, Pump DJs, Too Many DJs, all every month, and they were the go-to parties. So that kind of breakbeat sound was the thing. And obviously, sort of over the past 5 years, house music's really made a huge U-turn, and it's up there at its peak again. And that's what you hear every week in, week out.
Yeah, did those kind of big go-to parties, did they take a bit of a dip and now they're coming back? So
I mean, you'd see a lesser turn up. There would be fewer people at the clubs, but they were still hugely well-regarded DJs like Jack Beats and that lot have not lost their name because of the rise of other genres. They're still as sought after.
It's vibrant. There's still some great clubs here. They keep changing names, but there's always a core 3 or 4 clubs that are pushing the electronic scene and keeping underground, which is good. A couple of them we've lost to the commercial VIP, type venue, but there's still some good clubs down here. So there's some good acts every weekend for the underground scene.
There's a lot more music styles that have come along, and it's just a new generation of clubbers, because that is quite a long time. You see certain faces going out to the clubs all the time, and then they kind of get older, and then they start having children. Maybe their children start coming to the clubs, and so that's kind of changed. And there's a few things that have happened. So some of those people that were clubbing at a lot and then stopped have come out again. So there are nights that go on that sort of appeal to them, slightly older clubbers. And then you've got the new kids that are coming through. And I just think with the new kids, they're a different mindset, because they're sort of like the shuffle generation, aren't they? iPod shuffle generation, where they can listen to lots of different styles, whereas us lot would have been more like, well, I'm into house and disco and that kind of thing, or you were into hip hop or whatever. Now it's like very varied. With the younger generation, I think they kind of like can listen to lots of stuff.
Basically, I was born in Brighton and I've been here for a long time, and I remember starting DJing in 1996, and back then it was Brighton seemed a lot, even though it hasn't changed in its physical size, it seemed a lot smaller, as in the scene was a lot smaller. And so you would walk down the street and you would bump into everyone you knew who was involved in the local music scene, and that has kind of changed a lot, because obviously everyone's got a lot older since, and so people don't go out as much. And also most of those artists who were the local ones are most of their work is out of town now, so they don't do as much, because back then everyone was a lot less established, so all of their work would be based in Brighton, if that makes sense. So now everyone pretty much is working outside of Brighton. You can't really walk down the street and then bump into someone and then get involved in a music project just like you could back then.
I have some news.
Okay.
We're going to be at Shakedown, obviously. Of course we are.
Of course.
But there's going to be a Shakedown after party at the Concord, and that's going to start at 11 p.m. and finish at 5 a.m. if you're that bonker-nonkers. And that's going to be full of drum and bass, hard-hitting drum and bass. It's going to cost £10 plus booking fee. So definitely go down to that and check that out, whether you're going to Shakedown or not.
Yeah, you can still enjoy a bit of Shakedown fever.
Yeah.
Okay, Brighton Music Conference have announced their 2016 dates. It's going back to their Easter slot, which it was 2 years ago. This year was June, last year was April. Brighton Music Conference is going to be on April the 14th and 15th this year, which I think makes that Thursday to Friday, if my checking the diary is accurate. Which means they've done away with their Saturday days. So maybe people were finding it was busier on a Friday and not on the Saturday, and I don't know. So maybe clashing with people's weekends a bit. You'll have to take a couple of days off work for next year now.
Beardy Man is going to be playing 2 gigs, not 1, but 2, at Brighton's Old
Beardy
Market.
Man is back?
Yeah, so Beardy Man is
last.
back. We interviewed him last year, which was fantastic.
You can still check that out online.
Yeah, you can. He's going to be here doing his one album per hour project on the 21st and 22nd of October. That costs £18 per ticket and starts at 8 p.m. and definitely worth checking out. I know you've shared
doing
a few
that
of his videos. Yeah. So you give him a song title.
So how many albums do you think he'll manage in a night? Is he just doing one album?
I did check, he's playing for 120 minutes.
Okay, so it's 2 hours.
Two
2 albums in 2 hours.
2.
Bargain. Good to see the Beardy Man back in Brighton as well.
Absolutely.
Now SKINT celebrated their 20th year anniversary, and they've done so by bringing out a back catalogue of some of the big and best artists they've had on the label. It's called 20 Years of Being SKINT. Maybe they are still SKINT, who knows? So they've released a 3 CD stroke 8 LP release. It's on pledge at the moment. You can order it in advance. It actually comes out in August, but they've got a pledge campaign going to order some sort of early box set copies and stuff like that, some limited edition stuff. And you can also buy your way into the launch party. It's a family and friends only party. I think there's only like 40 tickets available. So if you want to do that, it's about £100, and you might be able to rub shoulders with, like the likes of Norman Cook and people like that. So maybe worth the dosh. What makes Brighton a good place to do business in the music industry?
I think you've got BIM, which is the music college. The studio's connected with that. There's obviously the Brighton Music Conference, which was really good, second year this year, and hopefully that will carry on and put Brighton more on the map for the electronic side of things.
But for you personally, being in Brighton, how has it helped your career, do you think?
When I was in London, I was doing a lot of engineering in the studio there, and so about half of the people said they'd come. In reality, about a quarter did, but there's a lot of local talent who want me to help them do the engineering for them, and people come from all over, so they all like a nice weekend in Brighton. So
I think there's quite a good core of people down here.
Yeah.
Whether it's the distribution side of it or the promotional side of it, or just licensing, syncing. There's quite a few people here that I know, like Believe Digital and SKINT and all these people. We've all worked together over the years.
I think that it's a hub of just so many talented artists, people who know about music, from funk, disco, hip hop, jazz, funk, house, reggae, especially reggae's got a big reggae scene, and drum and bass as well. And there's been so many big club nights down here, and I think any DJ who's ever played in Brighton will tell you that they've had a memorable night here at any different club. And that's where I think people have discovered how good a scene Brighton is, electronically. And
Brighton's always been really good for sort of grassroots level producers, because there's no massive panic down here. It's a very forgiving town. You can be experimental and try out different things, and you've got the platforms to do so, like BMC is a great new sort of weekend festival that showcases different artists and different pieces of software and etc. And then there's a few other radio stations that give a platform for these younger guys that want to do things like radio. There's One Brighton FM that's just started. They're doing really great things. Code South has been going for ages, and that's a fantastic station that really appreciates local talent. And Juice FM, still all local people, but still with a grip on international sort of trends.
Do Do you think that holds Brighton back, that it's not an Ibiza type destination with these super clubs?
There's a bit of both, really. I think it gives it a bit of character, the fact that it's not one of these mecca sort of clubbing destinations where they've got mass amounts of people queuing up for one big club. I think there's a lot of different places scattered around, and you know, I've played a lot of all the different clubs in Brighton, and so has Norman, and so has a lot of other DJs. So I think that Brighton offers a bit of variety, to be honest.
I think the bar culture just grew, and it did have a knock-on effect. A lot of people that would normally go to weekly clubs weren't really doing that as much, and I think now it's become a lot more specialist. So there are one or two clubs that have, yes, they've gone really commercial and turned into pop clubs, because they just aren't, there's not the clientele for it.
Yeah.
So they have to survive as a business, and I think that's better. It's good for the clubs that are focusing on just being strictly underground nightclubs.
Where do you go to hear your favourite genres of electronic music?
In Brighton? Well, the audio, which has now changed hands to Patterns, I think they're doing great things. They've brought down their staff from London, which some people don't like, some people do like, but I think, you know, the programming for it's been really strong, and they've still got some of the old residents who are bringing in some amazing artists from across the globe, and so yeah, Patterns is one for me. Sticky Mike's Frog Bar, funnily enough, strange name, but it's a great venue for smaller names.
You know, I remember going to the Knowledge of South nights that were at the Concord, sort of in the sort of mid to late 90s when I first moved to Brighton. You know, those were good fun. But I can't say that I was here really in the heyday, you know. But we've still got Vinyl Veterans. We're still, there you go, little plug. we're still doing a monthly night. That it seems to be moving around, you know, various venues at the moment. We're sort of trying to find a stable home. But yeah, looking on Facebook, Vinyl Veterans.
To be honest, it's the Concord 2 now. They're the place that's putting on all the cool nights for me.
What kind of genres do they?
Funk. They do a lot of hip hop shows. You know, a lot of hip hop touring hip hop artists come here, and they do a lot of drum and bass nights and breakbeat nights. I've just done a night there recently with the Plump DJs and Stanton Warriors, and it was absolutely rammed.
There's a night I started called Battle Jam with this beatboxer Beardy Man, which was started in 2006. Beardy's now moved to London and he's very busy, so he hasn't got time to do it as much anymore. So I'm kind of doing, getting like guest headliner DJs who are also my friends down to headline the night, and we do them like every few months or so.
Where do you go in Brighton? It's for a good time.
Good time. I can't say actually. We're talking about clubs.
Yeah.
There are some really good nights that go on. There's Disco Deviant, which is a really good night that goes on in Brighton. It's been running for years, and it's all quite sort of new disco and re-edits and that kind of thing. That goes on at different locations.
Okay.
Patterns as well, which is formerly Audio. I think they've got some really good, you know, really, when it comes to house or techno, they've got some really good things going on.
Who do you think's blowing up in Brighton right now, or is going to soon?
Alex Banks, at the moment, I think he's fantastic. He released his album on
Monkey Town?
Monkey Town, yeah, that's correct. If you listen to the likes of Mode Selector and Apparat and stuff like that, then yeah, he's going to be your bag.
Yeah, cool.
And then there's a young chap that's just come out of BIM called SDXN.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty interesting. He's he hasn't done much on the production circuit yet, but yeah, I think there's some big things to come from him.
So in between DJing and writing music, I run a record label called Instant Vibes, and we put out about 15 releases, and we're doing really well. We've had quite a few number ones on Beatport, basically more breakbeat, hip hop, some drum and bass, a little bit of house and glitch hop and the mid-tempo sort of stuff.
Local artists on that label?
I have got South Coast artists. We've got a guy called Scope who's going to be a real star, and this guy called Urban Dub who's drum and bass artist.
Yeah, there's a few kind of local DJs, and they're starting to touch on production. I'm actually surprised they haven't done a lot more, being as everyone else seems to. But you know, Yanni, who runs DPM, he's done a couple of releases with Thomas Gandy, who used to live here as well. And Marlon, who runs the Moody Disco Nights, he's a good DJ, so I think he should get involved in.
When are these Moody Disco Nights? Tell us about that.
He does them every few months. I'm not sure when the next one is, but yeah, he's kind of always getting the decent underground DJs, usually from Berlin or somewhere, top, the RA Resident Advisor top 100 DJs.
Okay, there's a really good producer and amazing DJ who's very local at the moment. His name's Cool Hertz, and he does a lot of really, really good funky breakbeat stuff. A really good producer, actually. He actually needs to make more tunes, but he will do, I'm sure. But he's like one of my favourite party DJs in Brighton. Does loads of different genres and mixes it up. He can read the crowd well, and he's actually probably the most frequent. If you go out in Brighton on a weekend, he'll probably be playing somewhere.